Okay, so I wanted to kind of cover this story here. It's the John Lennon UFO sighting. So he saw a UFO in 1974. It was August 23rd, I believe. Um, I thought this was pretty interesting. This is, of course, before my time, so this story is kind of new to me. I honestly just discovered this today, so I want to get in. I want to get into this, and let's see. I saw like a TV interview, a short TV interview that he did about it, and that's what piqued my interest, and I decided to do a video on this. So let's see here. Let's see. It says 39 years ago this Friday, August 23rd, 1974, was a typical hot summer night in New York City. Beatle gone solo, John Lennon was on what he would later call his lost weekend. An 18-month-long fling with former assistant May Pang during his breakup with Yoko Ono, lasting from the summer of 73 to the winter of 75. John and May had just returned home to their East 52nd Street apartment. After spending the day at the Record Plant East recording studio, where John was in the final stages of his Walls and Bridges album, Lennon loved the location of the 52nd Street address, as it was only one building away from the East River. The view from his top floor apartment, overlooking Brooklyn's Navy shipyard docks, reminded him of Liverpool. Another draw for Lennon was the fact that reclusive actress Greta Garbo also lived on the block, and he counted himself among the legion of her fans, who tried daily to catch a glimpse of her. Okay. That, let's see here, that August night began no differently from any other evening for John and May. John made and received phone calls, watched TV, and listened to the day's recorded studio work while making notes. The 52nd Street apartment was hot that night, but by 8 o'clock the air had cooled off, enough for May to turn off the air conditioner and open the windows to catch the breeze coming off the river. Just a few feet off the apartment's living room was the building's roof, accessible through a side window. This rooftop acted as the couple's private observation deck, offering a $1 million view of New York's East Side. Okay. The haze had now cleared over the cityscape, and around 8:30 p.m., May decided to take a shower, leaving Lennon alone in the living room reviewing mock-ups of his new record's cover. The cover art on the final product would be a painting by a 12-year-old John Lennon. As May was drying off, she heard John yell from the outside roof, "May, come here right now." Startled, she ran out to find him completely naked, standing on the roof, and pointing wildly at the southeastern sky. May wasn't surprised by finding John naked on the roof. John was a closet nudist. Okay, if you need proof, Google two versions and you'll understand. Oh, okay. What surprised her? What surprised her was what he was pointing at. Just south of the building was a brightly lit textbook circular UFO. Oh boy. Okay. Hovering silently less than 100 feet away from the couple. Less than 100 feet away? Pretty close. As John Lennon would later describe, I wasn't surprised to see a UFO really, as it looked like the spaceships we've all seen on the cinema growing up, but then I realized that this thing was real and so close that I could almost touch it. As they watched in astonishment, the UFO glided silently out of sight. May later told a reporter, "The lighting on the thing left us awestruck, as it would change its configuration with every rotation." Now keep in mind, this is 1974. According to May, the object made no sound and the main structure of the craft could be clearly seen for the duration of the event. Lit by the dying rays of the setting sun, May ran back into the apartment and grabbed her ever-present 35mm camera. Her mountain of photos of John Lennon and their lost weekend are legendary. Okay. Once back on the roof, both she and John took numerous pictures of the craft. May recalls how John stood screaming at the UFO, arms outstretched, to come back and take him away. Oh, I see. So he's screaming at the UFO and telling it to come back and take him away. She said he was very serious, and I believe he really wanted that thing to take him with it back to wherever it came from. But then that was John Lennon, always looking for the next big adventure. Okay. The couple watched as the object glided past the United Nations building and slowly veered left, crossing over the East River, then over Brooklyn before simply blending in with the heavy commercial air traffic found over southern Long Island. So wouldn't other people have seen this? Including like the air traffic? That's interesting. The couple climbed back into the apartment, and John picked up the phone to call his friend, noted rock photographer Bob Gruen. Lennon told Gruen to get over there as soon as possible, as he had some film he needed developed immediately. Oh, there was film. Wait a minute. As they waited for Gruen to arrive, John began drawing sketches of what he had seen. Oh, that's good. Noting its size and distance, John then called Yoko Ono at the Dakota Department to tell her about the UFO. May remembers that Yoko became upset at John because she hadn't seen it too, and felt that he had left her out of all the excitement. Bob Gruen arrived, and John excitedly told the photographer what had transpired. Gruen later recalled, "I took the film home and put John's roll between two rolls of film I'd taken earlier that day, and developed them. My 2 rolls of film came out perfectly, but John's roll was blank. Oh no." Later I asked him, "Did you call the newspaper?" And he said, "I'm not going to call up the newspaper and say, 'This is John Lennon and I saw a flying saucer that night.'" So Bob Gruen called up the local police precinct and asked if anyone had reported a UFO or flying saucer. The police responded with, "Where?" "Up on the east side? You're the 3rd call on it." "Oh, okay. 3rd call." 2 others had seen it. Then Bob called the Daily News and they said, "On the east side, 5 people reported it." Oh. Finally, Gruen called the ultra-conservative New York Times and asked a reporter if anybody had reported a flying saucer. The reporter hung up on him. Okay. Neither John Lennon nor May Pang would ever forget their UFO experience. John even mentions the encounter in the booklet that accompanied the Walls and Bridges album, released in the autumn of 1974. On the bottom right of the back cover, it reads, "On 23 August of 74, I saw a UFO. Signed, JL." May Pang has an audio tape of John recorded just a few weeks after their experience, where Lennon discusses his thoughts on UFOs in general. Lennon states that he had no doubt that the craft he saw was from another world, and nixed the idea that it could have been a secret government test plane. John Lennon believed the craft he saw was part of a much larger fleet stationed just north of New York City, near the Indian Point nuclear power plant. Ooh. In the tape, Lennon expressed his personal theory of how these craft use the Earth's gravitational field and take energy from our nuclear plants to counter the Earth's gravity. John also voiced his opinion and suspicion of a high-level conspiracy to cover up verifiable UFO sightings and close encounters with aliens. He continued that if the masses started to accept UFOs, it would profoundly affect their attitudes towards life, politics, everything. He added, it would threaten the status quo. Whenever people come to realize that there are larger considerations than their own petty little lives, they are ripe to make radical changes on a personal level, which would eventually lead to a political revolution in society as a whole. Yeah. And it shows here, by the way, I'm on alanhunter.com. This is from 2018. An article here, Close Encounters, the Beatles, John Lennon and UFOs. Has a hand-drawn, autographed UFO sketch here by John Lennon. Shows it there. Shows Lennon and May Pang looking at the UFO. Got some details there. All right. It's got it says it has white lights and a red light on the top. Interesting. Yeah. However, John Lennon was not a newcomer to the UFO phenomenon. Okay. Let's continue here. He was a known subscriber to the British UFO journal Flying Saucer Review, aka FSR, as far back as his years with the Beatles in the late 60s. Several copies of FSR have been found and subsequently auctioned off, addressed to John Lennon. May Pang reports, oh no, 74 wasn't John's first sighting. In fact, he told me that more than once he suspected he had been abducted, as a child back in Liverpool. She continues, and he felt that experience was responsible for making him feel different from other people for the rest of his life. According to May Pang, John Lennon believed he had been abducted by aliens as a lad in Liverpool, but he didn't like to talk about it. Okay, let's see what else I want to add here. Let's see, what is this here? Got another, it's got some more sketches that he did, like drawings. Oh yeah, the album, the drawing that was on the album, where he put that he saw that 74, that UFO in 74. Okay, I see. Oh, I guess that was that was the end of the article then. Okay, so I did see a, get out of there. I did also see there's a video that you can watch on YouTube where he's describing the UFO he saw. The clip I saw was short. I don't know how long it actually is, but it's really interesting, for sure. Um, I just thought this was a really cool story. I wanted to share it with you all. And yeah, I mean, it sounds legitimate. There's multiple people that saw this. I would like to know what the other people said they saw, like the same during that same event, UFO event, and see if I can dig up anything on that. That would be very interesting. Um, yeah, so let me know what you think about this. This is a good one. I think definitely a really good one. I don't think there's any pictures, like surviving pictures or video. They tried to looks it looks like John Lennon tried to get some evidence, and they were blank. Like the camera was blank. That's really strange. That's too bad though. That would have been really cool to see to see a picture of that for sure. But yes, let me know what you think, and I will be back with more of these, more of my UFO, um, more of my UFO, more of my UFO videos soon.